Are live. Michael, do you want to go first?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm still I work with Sage on Monday, pair programmed a bit to get the issue with the institution and term displayed in the campaign page, and I'm still just going over all the things we touched on and just reviewing some concepts that was newly exposed to me. So after I finish that, I'm gonna go back to the waffle board and see if there's something else that I could start tackling.
Okay. Maybe after Scrum, we should look at it real quickly. Maybe
Sure.
get an idea of what might be good.
Yep, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Okay, great. Sounds good. Sage, how about yourself?
Let's see. Yesterday, I rolled out that second connection to Salesforce feature, which helps our staff like more quickly document like things that we want to show off, like a really good student article that like where the student just did great work, and we want to keep track of that so that we can like bring it up in blog posts or stuff like that. So now there's a easy way for admins, like right from the dashboard, to push that out, and that was well received by the one of the two people who will actually use that feature. And then that's kind of it. I'm a little bit stalled on this Rocket Chat integration because of one bug in their system that I turned up, and one that's kind of related to like the very liberal username rules that MediaWiki, and therefore my system, and therefore my integration with the chat system has to have, and then another that's just sort of like a limitation of what they're like, what kind of events you can sort of get signals from when you embed the client like in an iframe, and so I think both of those may be things that they're going to fix. Like I've been talking with the developers, but I'm kind of blocked on those for the time being. So we're kind of paused on trying to roll it out any further or add any more new testers. We've kind of identified the first crop of things that needed to be fixed. And I started working, like seeing sort of the first design ideas from Ivan, the designer who's been working with us, who came and checked in like last week. And so we're that's moving forward, and we're gonna hopefully get a PR this week to do some restyling of the diff viewer. And then I'm kind of gonna spend some time trying to figure out what I want to write up for my section of our like annual planning notes for next year. So kind of researching like how much money it'll take to hire a developer in Seattle to sort of start building out an in-house tech team for the project. So that's about it for me.
Okay.
Guess that's enough.
More than enough, certainly. Yeah, absolutely. For myself, nowhere near as much stuff going on. So I did spend some time on the Met Plus project. We have a live client who's banging away at the keys, giving us feedback. We were going to have a call today, but Hugh, project manager, couldn't do it. So we're going to do that tomorrow with the client, see how he's progressing. So that's good, making progress there. And what else did I do? I think that's all I had time for yesterday and so far today. We're reviewing PRs on the Met Plus project. There was a failing CI test, so I kind of debugged that a little bit for the guy who owns the PR. So that consumed some of my time as well. And that's about it for me. So I guess that's it for the Scrum. I think at this point, maybe, Michael, we can talk about what might be a good target issue or issues for you.
Sure.
with Sage's help. Let me, guess I'll go ahead and share my screen. And let's see. Do I have it here yet? No, I don't. So let's bring that up. So I'll be looking at your pull request later today, Michael. So I'm just standing up the app right now, so I'll take a look at that.
Okay.
So I guess we have two queues, but the queue that contains the voted on items are current sprint. The ones that, let's see, is this one taking ownership? Okay, we should vote on this. Actually, Federico commented on this. We should vote on that, actually. So, Sage, do you want to, before we go through stories that might be amenable for Michael to take, why don't we talk a little bit about this story here and maybe put a quick vote together for it? 1187. You
muted. Yeah.
You muted? Yeah.
Yeah, I think this would actually be a really good fit for Mike. But we did discuss this in the previous Scrum there, and
I remember that. Yep.
To recap, basically, we have like alerts list index, which is just like a pretty ugly and simple table of all of these alert records. And we recently added, thanks to Mr. Wilhelm, the ability to resolve these alerts, which basically just means like say, oh yeah, this one's been dealt with, and so it'll free the system up to like create another one about the same issue if like the problem sort of comes back again, or like whatever caused that situation, like those conditions are met again. And so right now it just like there's a little plain link that says resolve that you can use if you're an admin to like resolve that. But then it just like it just has the two states, in or resolve, instead of like checking whether it's actually been resolved, in which case it should like have like a check mark or something, and then just like not even show in or anything in the case of when like it's not applicable to that alert type. So this is like pure Rails, and will just basically involve like sort of thinking through how the models work, and like making some little tweaks to both the styling and sort of the logic of the view for this.
Okay. Yeah, so there's a little bit of investigation how the models work, like you said, and making sure the data is available with the view, changing the controller if we have to do something. Yeah, all straightforward stuff. So why don't we vote really quickly on that? Michael, do you feel comfortable in voting on this?
Here, so if you weren't there for the other one, I can really quickly show you what this alert list looks like.
Okay.
That can, and then I'll maybe also show you real quick like the code for it, just so you can sort of see what we're working with here.
While he's doing that, Michael, in the issue itself on Waffle 1187, there's a link to the YouTube video that contains the discussion around that. The problem is that I don't think the link actually brings you to the exact point in the video that the discussion starts, so you may have to hunt and peck. But maybe what Sage is going to do right now negates the need for even looking at the video.
Okay.
But it's available to you, or this video as well, to help out.
Yeah, so currently I think there are two specific kinds of alerts that are like resolvable, and the rest, like the concept of resolving it, just doesn't really make sense. And the way that we use these result alerts are primarily they essentially like an alert gets created and recorded in the system, and then at the same time, like an email gets sent to someone who ought to know about this event. And so then only one email gets sent, and then we use the alert record and sort of like to say, okay, well, don't create another alert and don't send out another email because we already know that this happened. And so then resolving basically gives us a chance to like reset that condition and get another email in the future if that's desired. So like an articles for deletion alert means that an article that someone was working on was nominated on Wikipedia for deletion. And so that's something that we can look into and say, oh yeah, well, because there's maybe it does deserve to be deleted and ends up deleted, or maybe it's like, well, it had some problems, but actually those are pretty easy to fix. So I'll tell the person who made this, what they can do to kind of save this article. And then the deletion process sort of resolves, and maybe the article didn't get deleted. And so then like the articles for deletion alert is sort of, resolved. It's no longer relevant. But we want to actually be alerted again if like it got renominated for deletion in sort of a new instance of that process. So that's what this allows us to do. And so that's what like this little resolve link does, as well as there's like a resolve link that goes out within the emails to the people. But all the ones that are not resolvable have NA here. And this would be better if it was a button, because that would sort of broadcast that this is not just a link that you're going to, like this is an action that it is sort of like a one-way action that like, you're not just visiting a page, you're doing something if you click this link. So it should be a button. And like alerts that are not resolvable at all, I'll show you what the like alert model looks like here.
Before you go away from the screen, how do you show resolved alerts?
They right now say NA.
I thought NA means it's not resolvable.
Well, if it's already been resolved, then it's also not resolvable. But part of the bug is
I see. Okay.
that the UI doesn't differentiate between those two situations.
Yep, got it. Okay.
And so yeah, we want it to say resolved if it has been resolved, and just not say anything if it's not resolvable.
We actually want it to have a check mark, right? If it's been resolved.
Yeah, something like that.
Some visual indicator
indicates that it has been resolved. And so yeah, we have, for example, this articles for deletion alert model, and it has this method resolvable, and it also has like an attribute resolved, true or false, which is going to be default for false of all of them. And so some alert types, like active course alert, it defaults to the main alert method, which is resolvable false. So unless it's specified in like the specific alert type, it's not going to be resolvable at all. But if it is resolvable in principle, then it's like, well, has it actually been resolved? And if so, then it's not resolvable. And so that should be the condition that like, if resolved is true, then you put the check mark. And then otherwise, if it's resolvable, you put the resolve button.
Mm-hmm. And otherwise, you leave it at B, which is empty. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's pretty much it.
Sounds
that's
good.
pretty straightforward, yeah. Okay, so why
Do you
don't
have any questions about that, Mike?
Yeah, it sounds pretty straightforward then. No questions right now, I guess.
Cool. All right. Well, let's do vote, shall we?
Yep.
I'm gonna do it in the chat here.
Sure.
All right. 3, 2, 1, vote.
Oh, so I wasn't sure which one. So 1 means we want to.
A 1 means we think it's a pretty easy task that will not take too long,
Okay.
like maybe an hour or something like that.
And okay.
And then a 2 is like a moderately involved task that we think would take maybe 4 hours, something like that. Is that like the
4 hours to a day? Yeah.
4 hours to a day, and then a 3 is like bigger than that. It'll take me probably more than a day's work.
Okay.
I mean, like, and not necessarily like calendar days, but like working days worth of things. So if you're just working a little bit per day, but you would still like maybe call something a 2, even if you would spread the work out over several days.
And we're voting to about the task that you just said, that you just explained, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna agree with you guys then.
Cool.
There may be a test that needs to be adjusted as well. I'm not sure, but even so, I think it's probably still a 1. Okay, good. So we got that. Do you feel comfortable with that, or do you want to go over any other stories here, Michael?
I think I'll take a stab at it.
Okay, great.
And did you have any more questions or like thoughts or things that you're really sort of like wondering about the work that we did the other day?
Actually, so far I was actually reviewing all the Git functions that we used. I haven't really, so that's like that's a biggie. I mean, I think that should be my first priority, and I pretty much got done with that. As she answered some of my long held questions. So now after this Scrum, I'm gonna take a look at more of the work we did in Dev. Just to see if I could completely have a better picture now. So no questions yet, but maybe for tomorrow, might shoot some.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Git can be a hairy beast to. I wouldn't say master. I don't know if many people actually master it, but to at least get along with.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we voted on that. So we're good on that.
I'll go ahead and assign that to Mike so that we don't forget.
Okay. Very good. Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else. Anybody else have anything?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, great. Okay, we'll call it then. We will connect up tomorrow, and have a good afternoon, guys.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.
Bye now.
Bye.
Yep.